Nisa. Welcome into One-on-One on OSU Student Radio KCUI Sunlink Channel 112. I'm Reed Spencer, joined by my co-host Logan Moser. As always, an OSU insider Robert Allen, live from Studio 318 in Stillwater, America, and it is the best week of the year in a lot of people's minds, especially I believe that
It's the
way.
best homecoming for sure.
Yeah, Mizzou tries, but Mizzou doesn't have anything on Oklahoma State. It is the greatest weekend here. As we said, the walk-around Friday, the parade Saturday morning, and obviously the game that we're going to get into Saturday night at 7 p.m. with the Texas Longhorns. But Robert, what is your favorite homecoming event or tradition that we do around here?
Winning the football game. Yeah, I mean, it's all good, and I enjoy going down and seeing all. The students put a lot of work into it. I tell you what, I mean, you asked, I probably should. A couple of years ago, my daughter was in the homecoming court. She was one of the homecoming queen candidates, and she didn't win. She was an underclassman.
It's a robbery.
Okay, so no, it really wasn't. I mean, the girl that won was very deserving. Katie was very happy to be in the court. So yeah, it was. I guess that was a good memory.
If we would have had this
No,
show
it was
then,
a good memory.
we would have publicly campaigned
Yeah.
for her if we would have had this show at that time.
Yeah, it was a few years ago. I mean,
but-
she's been out of school about 5 years now, working in Houston, has a degree, uses it, and that Oklahoma State degree has come in very handy for her. So it's all good.
Logan and I'll get there one day. It might be
Yeah.
off schedule in a few years. Who knows when we'll actually graduate?
If
But
you keep skipping Arabic class, that's not going to help.
hey, one time,
Okay,
one
just-
time,
Just
I had a project to do.
had a project. That's okay.
I delayed.
Do you
and then-
realize? Let me tell you. I mean, this is totally with and with losing 3 of the last 4 games, we need more moments like this
Yeah.
on this show. But I mean, I'm going to tell you from a little tidbit from my days at Oklahoma State, and I went to classes in this very building. I did shows in this very studio. I'm very proud of Oklahoma State and the school of journalism and broadcasting, and Dave Hunziker, my partner, teaches here. Heck, I've authored 2 books. That's amazing. If somebody told me in college, you know what, you're going to write 2 books, I would have said, are you kidding me? No. But I'm going to say this. Every once in a while, it'll happen maybe once or twice a year, I will wake up in a cold sweat because I've had the dream. And here's my reoccurring dream. It's finals, my last final exam period. And I've got this class, one remaining class that I have to have or I do not get my degree. And I skipped it most of the year, which I did a few classes in that category, and did not realize they had changed the location of the final exam.
Ooh.
And I show up to take that final exam, and nobody's there. And there's no note on the door saying, hey, you need to go to home ec, or you need to go to the business building or whatever. The test is here. Note, so the thing I have to do is I have to run into the den and look in the bookcase and see my diploma is still there and that the ink wasn't invisible. And when I see that, my name on it, Oklahoma State University, and bestows this degree, I'm like, okay, I can go back to bed. Happens about twice a year, guys. So the moral to the story, don't skip class.
I've only
That's a very
skipped
real
2 all
nightmare.
semester. 2 all semester.
Because you'll have that dream. You'll get your degree. You guys are smart guys. You'll get your degree. But don't be like me. You'll have that dream twice a year. My wife doesn't even pay attention anymore. It used to be, she'd say, is everything okay? It will be when I see my diploma. No, she doesn't even ask anymore. She knows I'm having that dream again about skipping class and missing the final exam.
Well, there's been 2 times this semester where Logan and I've scheduled ourselves to go to these events for a class project, and one time he
the
didn't
wrong
get the
day.
date right.
Yep.
And last week I got the date wrong because it said, I believe it was Thursday the 19th, but they got the day of the week wrong in the email. So I showed up or looked in there, and it was not the right date, so I had to miss class. It was just, it's what happens around here.
And this is probably a good tangent to get on for homecoming week, because just think, if you did miss that final exam, you probably wouldn't want to come back for the walk around.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't have all
Yeah.
the great memories because you wouldn't have that diploma, and that's kind of what it's all about. So
Right.
I'm glad. I feel like I told that story about that dream as a public service to all of you students out there that are thinking about skipping class. Go to class. Go to class.
It's a good message.
We need it 'cause
Yeah.
sometimes after that fall break and the bye week, I didn't.
I could
did,
go for
yeah.
another bye week. By the way, it was a good open week.
Yeah.
But
So did you stay home and watch a lot of college football this weekend?
you know what? God, this dates me. I stayed home, had my grandchild there, Cash, and we played 3 different football games in the backyard. He won all 3.
Of course.
He's 3 years
Undefeated.
old. He is unbeaten. We played baseball because the World Series is. He wanted. He goes, Pops, we got to play 1 game of baseball. I said, okay, Cash, we're good. He won that too. And then he and I watched on streaming on the computer. His dad coaches, and we watched his game in New Mexico. And the funniest thing, it's the 4th quarter. Cash's dad's team is up by a touchdown, but the other team's driving. And this little 3-year-old turns back to me and goes, Pops. I said, yeah, Cash? And he goes, this is intense. And I'm like, you're
That's
right.
awesome.
For a 3-year-old, you're pretty darn perceptive. It is intense.
That's
So
awesome.
It
He's
was
picking up on it right
And then
away.
as soon as the game was over, he wanted to know when I was going to cook out hamburgers. That's a good weekend.
The life of a 3-year-old is
And-
great.
Well, and this. I mean, I know I'm tangent city today. But after he fell asleep, I watched the Purdue-Ohio State game. And this kind of has some relevance because ABC will be in televising Oklahoma State and Texas on Saturday. I got news for you. Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler and Maria Taylor, they're not coming for the homecoming decorations. They're not
Right.
coming for the parade. They're coming to coronate Texas.
Yeah.
Put a crown on Texas. Hey, you got over this Oklahoma State thing. Texas is back. So it would be nice, like Purdue ruined Ohio State's evening, for Oklahoma State to ruin the big evening for Texas. On top of that, the story about the Purdue
It was
student.
incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, what is it?
Tyler Trent, I believe.
Tyler Trent.
I believe his name.
And I saw the story during game day, and then he's at the game, and that's the best of college football.
Right.
Showing the Purdue team bringing the Nebraska game ball to his house and praying with him and his family, and then him in the lot. That is when college football is truly at its best. Is a story like that.
And I saw your tweet about, sometimes a higher power not having
I
influence.
believe that.
And
I
then,
believe that.
But you're watching this game, and you see, I'm on Twitter, and you see him in the booth, and things start to go their way, and you're kind of sitting there going, this is almost meant to be.
Yeah.
And that whole university, and game day in Pullman, that was probably one of the better.
Were you flipping back and forth between
Yeah.
those? That was two good shows there.
And game day as a whole in Pullman, just all the people that were there, the 15 years they've been flying the flag. College football is one of the greatest things.
On one network, the Boilermakers are making, let's be honest. I mean, he's not going to make it.
Yeah.
The young man. They're making the night of his life. And his celebrity, his fame. I mean, people will follow him and the things he says forever because he got put on a pedestal. And like I say, it's one of the great things about college football. On the other network, the Pirate is winning. Mike Leach, the king of Pirates, the Jolly Roger is beating Oregon. It was good stuff.
Did you by chance see his text to the Pac-12 officiating crew?
I haven't seen that.
Look up that article
I have
because
to.
it's hilarious. They got an open records request for his text to the officials, and it's the most Mike Leach.
Really?
It's amazing. But before we do want to get out of here, I do want to send our condolences to Larry Williams and his family, what they're going through. Lost his mother after a long battle. So we are thinking of you, Larry. The Cowboy family is behind you. I believe he's going to play this Saturday. Right?
He's practicing.
He's
yes.
practicing. So
yeah,
we are
respect
thinking
that.
of him and his family. But we are going to take a quick break before we come back and break down OSU's offense and what they can do against the 6th-ranked Longhorns. You're watching One-on-One on OSU Student Radio, KXUI, Suddenly, Channel 112.
One-on-One is brought to you by Tinker Printing. Visit Facebook.com/TinkerFCU. While you're there for your family, we're there for you. Tinker Federal Credit Union, and OSU Communications. Not sure where to park? OSU Communications has got you covered with parking tips and bus schedule information. We'll be right back.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
Cast Crazy to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Welcome back to One-on-One on OSU Student Radio KXUI, Sunlink Channel 112. I'm Reed Spencer, joined by my co-host Logan Moser. And as every Wednesday, OSU insider Robert Allen. You've got all the answers for us. You got, you
Don't skip class. I'm just going to keep going back to that. That's the best answer I got today.
Well, I'm going to ask you some questions about this Longhorn defense and some questions about the Oklahoma State offense. They're still ranked number 19 in the overall offense category, which is kind of remarkable with the last couple games that they've had, and not so much the Iowa State game. They put up points there, but with Todd Orlando, they're number 3 in the Big 12 in total defense. I believe number 49 overall. It's not like they're shutting people out. And Texas has had close games. I mean, they haven't had a big margin of victory where you were like, oh, they're blowing me away. I mean, it's been close every single game and lost that first one to Maryland. But what can Oklahoma State do offensively to frustrate Todd Orlando and the Longhorns?
Well, I mean, and let's give credit to the Texas defense a little bit because some defenses get a break. Oklahoma State's defense at times has had breaks when, that offense just takes off. And like you said, it hadn't been lately. But Texas defense is having to play with pressure all the time. They have not run off and hid from anybody. I mean, their biggest win was 23 points against USC at home. Everything else has been a ball game. And, a friend of mine that does radio in Austin and covers Texas for their 247 sports site, Chip Brown, used to be at the Dallas Morning News. I was talking to him, today, and he said, here's the deal. Texas is not good enough offensively to, if they can get ahead by 2 touchdowns, that's a big lead for Texas. He goes, more times than not, Texas is going to have to win a 4-quarter game. Well, okay, so leaning that way, Texas defense, not spectacular, but they're good. And Todd Orlando is a great coordinator at coming up with plans specific to a team. Last year, he ran a double cloud coverage and put a robber in the middle that's a robber safety, and he put him there basically to discourage Mason Rudolph from being able to hit James Washington on that post route they love so much. And then when you've got double cloud coverage on either side, you're not going to get deep against that. So he prevented the deep ball. I'm wondering if we see that again, or because he thinks OSU's running game is probably so much more of a threat, which I kind of do, than the deep passing game. I think he'll modify it some, but he's what I would use the term, he's elegantly simple. He'll throw some elegant designer, like designer clothes in the fashion, world, but they're made very simply.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way he puts his defense together, because he doesn't want his guys to have to think a lot and get, kind of petrified by, what do I do here? He wants them to be able to react, but he wants that quarterback on the other side to be confused. So I think it's a good matchup. I know a lot of people, let's just get the big white elephant out of the room, or at least, pet it on the back or on the trunk, whatever you want to do. Everybody wants another quarterback. Okay.
Yeah.
This is not the game to throw another quarterback out there. First of all, Taylor Cornelius is still, especially when the rest of the offense is working with him, the offensive line's doing a decent job. You can get the running game involved. He's still a good quarterback. He's also the most experienced quarterback. For 4 years, he's been in the room, and really for 2 years, because that's as long as Orlando and Tom Herman have been there. This will be his second year preparing for them. Spencer Sanders has never prepared for him. Drew Brown's never prepared for him. So it makes all the sense in the world for Taylor Cornelius to handle the quarterback job against Texas. The other thing, and we see Taylor, some highlights here, the other aspect of it is with this is the redshirt rule. You're so deep in the season right now. Why would you really consider blowing the red shirt? And once you get under that 4-game umbrella at the end of the year, fine. I'd like to see another quarterback.
Yeah.
I think you want to get Spencer Sanders some seasoning. But right now, this is not the game to do it, in my opinion. And others out there that think, they pay for their seat. It's expensive. They don't want to be disappointed. By the way, I never get to sit in them, but I have season tickets because I feel like it's my job to support the program. It gets me paid as a sideline guy. So, and I've got family that wants to go. So it's not like I'm doing the freebie thing. I'm just saying this is not the game to break out a new quarterback. It's the game to give Taylor Cornelius all the support in the world and see what he can do.
Yeah, and I know last week we talked a lot about looking for a spark, and we speculated maybe another guy, maybe a quarterback, maybe something else. Maybe it's just a different kind of game plan. So you've obviously kind of ruled out another quarterback coming in. What can they do differently with the guys that are on the field? Like, what can they do differently with Justice, Tylan Wallace, Dylan Stoner, those guys?
Well, I'm going to start with Justice, and I've been on this bandwagon so much so that I think Gundy is, Mike Gundy's sick of answering my question at news conferences. But I go back to the Kansas game, and I know people are going to say, well,
it's Kansas.
You could have done anything, and that would have tripped the trigger to the offense against Kansas. But I like the way they did it. They got Justice established. I think when you establish Justice Hill early, I think that causes the defense to really focus and collapse on trying to stop Justice, and it opens up everything else. The other thing I'd like to see more of, and I know why they've been cautious, you don't want your quarterback to get slobber knocked and over there on the bench he doesn't do any good. But you look at the Kansas State game when the offense was struggling at times, the big play was Taylor Cornelius. He had 2 huge runs. Okay, instead of saying we're going to run Taylor 4 to 5 times, try 8 to 10. Because those are big plays, and they, the beautiful thing about football, guys, that I think is so fun about the sport is every play factors in leading to whatever else happens after that in the game. And so, yeah, I think if you get Justice untracked, you show Taylor Cornelius running a few times for some big gains. Now that defense has got to worry about some things that will cause you to be able to have more wide open receivers. It's a very responsive game, and the great thing about Todd Orlando, he's a responsive defensive coordinator. You knock him over the head with something a few times, and he's going to, okay, I don't want to be knocked on the head again. I'm going to defend this, and it's going to open up something else. So, yeah, I want to start with Cornelius, especially with Justice, but Cornelius as well running the football.
Okay. What about the rest of the Justice League? Just getting those guys involved.
Well, yeah, I mean, as accordingly, yeah, because believe me, I'm not. I don't want to leave J.D. King and Chuba Hubbard, and even L.D. Brown's healthy now. I'd like to see L.D. get some carries, but I think you got to start with the bell cow.
Yeah.
And the bell cow is, it's like last night. It didn't work for him, or in the first game of the World Series. But are you going to start anybody but Kershaw if you're the Dodgers, and if you're the Red Sox, you going to start anybody but Chris Sale? No, you go with your band to begin with.
If we told you, I know we had a reflective show last week, and we're going to try not to do that here. But if I would have told you this point in the season, 7 weeks in, Taylor Cornelius is the second leading rusher on the team, would you be shocked? Not, I guess, knowing that it's not. I guess I should say, if I told you that, maybe you thought, well, they've run him a lot and it's been really successful. Outside of one game, it hasn't been a huge deal. So are you kind of surprised that with being the second leading rusher with what he's done?
Is he really?
Yeah, he's the second leading rusher on the team.
Wow. I mean, see, you
shocked him
for that.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's only 140 something.
Yeah.
Well, here was my biggest deal. I mean, if you had told me that your quarterback was going to get sacked 7 times in a game and still have like 49 yards of positive rushing total, I would have said, you got to be. I mean, he must have rushed for, because I average in my mind about 8 yards a sack. So it means he had a 100-yard rushing game, basically. And that's crazy. But no, I am surprised. I would have thought either Chuba or JD. How close are they? Got to be fairly close.
I don't have their stats down. I know that
I haven't. So
Taylor Cornelius has got. I mean, Justice has 684 and 112 rushes for the 7 touchdowns, but I think it's relatively close. But he is.
Cornelius has 190 net. Chuba has 184.
Okay.
King has 135. Yeah, I wouldn't have been totally surprised by that because you knew Cornelius was going to run some. The disappointing thing to me is that they don't have more. And I'm talking about I'm disappointed that Justice doesn't have more.
Yeah.
But I'm really disappointed that that not only Cornelius but Chuba and JD don't have more. I would kind of like to see them all of them up above the 200 mark.
Yeah, there is a familiar name on this Longhorn defense. His last name's Stearns. Caden Stearns, 4 interceptions, 26 tackles. Excuse me. Obviously, the little brother of Jordan Stearns here was a great Cowboy.
Not little, younger. He's bigger. He's bigger than Jordan.
Yeah, his younger brother. What of an impact can he have here in Stillwater this week? Because I mean, obviously, it's not just the Caden Stearns show, but he has been really impressive so far for Texas.
He's already a semifinalist for the Jim Thorpe Award as a freshman.
Wow.
So I mean, and there aren't any other freshmen on that list. And here's the other thing, guys. He's been here a bunch.
Right.
I mean, he came here and watched his older brother play quite a few games here, and Oklahoma State recruited him very heavily. If you remember his recruitment, I didn't even know this until he did it, but he committed to LSU initially because I didn't realize this. Jordan Caden's father is an LSU fan. So he committed to LSU, but so much for Dad. A couple of months later, he decommitted and committed to Tom Herman and Texas. So he's a tremendously talented player. One of his teammates, Javion Cardwell, is a freshman corner for Oklahoma State out of Cibolo Steel. Cibolo Steel's been good to Oklahoma State. They've had 4 or 5 really good players out of there, including Jordan. Got a kid committed in this next recruiting class, but they couldn't land Caden Stearns, and I know that was disappointing to the Oklahoma State staff because they knew how good he was going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, he will be one of those guys. I'll be shocked if he's at Texas for 4 years. I think he'll start this year, probably play 2 more years, and then I think he'll go to the NFL. He's got NFL written all over him.
Well, we certainly don't want to have a great game here this weekend because
no.
that means. But he's a really good player.
And you're getting him now. I mean, he as good as he is now. He is good.
He's going to get better.
He's going to get a lot better
which is a scary thing.
It is.
But we do have to take a quick break before we come back and break down the Oklahoma State defense versus whoever's going to play quarterback and whatever Tim Beck's got planned.
And I know we're going to get into OSU's defense, but remember, Oklahoma State's starting 2 freshman safeties.
Yeah.
Both are playing pretty good. Kobe Peel, and especially, Jarek Bernard, I think, is going to be a tremendous player. He's out of a big-time program in Shreveport Evangel Christian. I think you will see those 2 guys. That's why I'm really excited about the future of the secondary. It's young, and I think that those guys are going to be really good players, too.
Well, they've got a big test and a big game ahead of them. We'll be right back on One-on-One OSU Student Radio, KXUY Suddenlink Channel 112.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Christian University. Get your master's degree in accounting, business administration, theology, engineering, computer science, or cybersecurity from Oklahoma Christian University. Apply at oc.edu/grad. Oklahoma University is committed to offering the best graduate school experience we possibly can. Come learn and grow with us. And The Table. Stop by The Table on Thursdays at 8 p.m. to join their Bible study. Shoot Rachel an email at rachel@thetableosu.com for more information. We'll be right back.
In my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Welcome back to One-on-One on OSU Student Radio, KXUY Suddenlink Channel 112. I'm Reed Spencer, joined by my co-host Logan Moser and OSU insider Robert Allen, who has all the answers for us about this Oklahoma State defense. A bye week. Thank you for the bye week. We could, like you said, we could all use another one. Wasn't quite long enough. But the 2 straight losses for the Cowboys. We'll get to the defense, but as a whole, this team, did they relax? Did they take a moment to reflect? Did they put their big boy pants on? What did they do over this bye week?
They had 2 hard practices, which, the Tuesday, Wednesday practices. I think they conditioned Thursday, and then they had Friday and Saturday off, which I think is good. Whether you're winning, losing, whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's good to refresh and recharge the batteries and get away from it. And that was the question I had this week for Taylor Cornelius. I said, I hope you got away from it a little bit. And he said he did. I mean, you have to. I mean, because it can wear on you. And right now it's wearing on these guys more because as much as fans don't want the team to lose, believe me, they don't want to lose. Yeah. I mean, they put too much work into this to come out and have disappointment. So, I think it was a productive open week. The other thing that goes on, I mean, this is the other part of college football. In fact, if you ask me, it's the main thing for the assistant coaches and the staff. They were all out of Stillwater Thursday, actually late Wednesday. They were at high school games and in high schools on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they were at some high school games. Some of them were at junior college games. So the business of going out and finding the next class of Oklahoma State football players, they were all about that. And there's already a lot of commitments. And I've spent several days this week, tracking where the coaches went and who they saw. And the good news is a lot of the players that are already committed in this class are doing really well. So, and some of them had really big performances this weekend. So the coaches got to see that. That ought to make them feel a little bit better heading into this week.
So what did Jim Knowles, was it I know everyone, we talked about the breaks that they took, but they're still trying to learn this defense. Was not having a game a good opportunity to kind of say, hey, we're going to go over some more things to get a little bit more comfortable with this 4-2-5?
Well, I don't think they introduced any new material, but I think what they did was they backtracked and went over kind of reinstall the defense a little bit during the two big practices in the open week. Probably a little bit during those practices, started in on Texas a little bit during the meetings as well, so that when they got together Sunday night, normally Sunday, the day after a game, is a light practice where they go over corrections, anything that took place in the game that they need to correct. And with no game this Sunday, they went right into preparation for Texas. So there was a little carryover. They were able to get an advance and an extra workout there on the Longhorns. But yeah, I think the biggest thing, guys, with this defense is simplify it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think guys are out there and they're a little bit conflicted as far as what they're doing, and defense especially. You want guys to react. You don't want, if you're having to think about what you're doing on defense, that guy's by you. Whether you're covering somebody or trying to tackle a runner or rush a quarterback, if you have to think, it's over. He wins.
What is the health of this defense? Because I know it was like everything you take this week and you try to get a little bit healthy, relax, get away from it all. Calvin Bundage, what is his health like going into this game Saturday night?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think, again, they got a few days of break. And I think the health on the defense, quite honestly, is better than what it is on offense. Here's an interesting thing on Bundage. I'm not saying this to tear Bundage down. I'm saying it to kind of lift Devin Harper up. Pro Football Focus, which is the analytic people that do a lot of the stuff for the NFL, Pro Football Focus put together, as we watched some defensive highlights from, had to be the first half, against Kansas State. But they do a mid-season All-Big 12 team like they do for all the conferences. Devin Harper was one of their linebackers. Well, he's not even a starter. But he's got an interception. He's had a number of tackles for losses. They do it by production per play. So that kind of tells you, okay, Devin Harper, pretty good. But, yeah, I think the good thing was Bundage got a little healthier, and Jordan Brailford's played a lot of snaps. He needed the break. So, yeah, I mean, the bad thing is you're not going to get Darian Daniels back. I'd like to have him back because I think his depth at defensive tackle makes a difference. But, yeah, I think they're okay.
Yeah, one of the big questions I think for this defense is they don't really know what quarterback they're playing on Saturday. They say Sam Ehlinger's on target for a return. He's throwing real footballs now.
Killing the Nerf ball.
Yeah,
I heard.
Yeah, I heard he was throwing the Nerf ball a lot on Monday, but I think he's back to a real football now.
He is.
So how does the game plan change for the defense, whether it's Sam Ehlinger or Shane Buechele? Is that their backup?
Yeah,
correct?
not tremendously. Ehlinger is going to be involved, but you know what? Especially this week, if Ehlinger plays, the word is they're not going to run him much. It's an AC joint injury. Well, I mean, and the funny thing was I asked some of the Cowboy defenders, you don't want to be dirty. You don't want to say you want to hurt somebody. And before I even got it out, I said, yeah, if Ehlinger's playing, we're going to knock the crap out of him. I mean, that's the game.
Yeah.
So Texas knows that. So I think the idea that Tom Herman has is we're not going to expose Ehlinger. So if he plays, don't expect him to run the ball. You almost go back to their game plan in the Maryland game and the Tulsa game when they were much more power counter in the run game and not really running the quarterback much because I don't think they want to expose him. When he plays that way and the offense lines up that way, there's not much difference at all between what he's going to do and what Buechele's going to do. except I think Michelle's actually a little bit better thrower. And we talked, during the break. I mean, unique name, little Jordan Humphrey, but he and Colin Johnson and Devin Duvernay are legitimate weapons that I don't think they've fully used. So if Michelle's the quarterback and they're throwing the ball downfield, we also know that this Cowboy secondary at times has been under siege. So I almost would prefer to see Ellinger. If I were an Oklahoma State coach or defender, I think I'd rather see Ellinger.
This is kind of off topic, but did you go get the Barry Sanders shoes before you stopped by here? Did you go by the Student Union? Did you see the new shoes that they released today?
No.
Special edition
I didn't
Nike
see those
Barry
either.
Sanders shoes from 1988. I was expecting you to walk in with
With a
your
fresh
high-top
pair?
1988 Barry Sanders.
I swear to God, if you'll go back and look, that Barry Sanders was not wearing Nikes in 1988.
Did he wear Pumas?
Yeah, they were Pumas.
Yeah.
And you want to know something? I have at home a pair of Pumas that Barry wore.
That's awesome.
That I procured. So, yeah, they're in my closet.
You love the uniforms?
Yeah, and they're in a safe, by the way, so don't even think about it.
The uniforms. I know.
Love them. Yeah, they're great. I think they're great looking.
They're awesome.
Really? There's a Nike special Barry Sanders?
Yeah, I'll
Nike?
show them to you on break. Yeah. Yeah, there was only 200.
Well, if they're going to look like the Pumas he actually wore, they're plain white with a black Nike swoosh.
I mean, they're cool.
His were plain black, or plain white with a black Puma.
These are cool because they are the Barry Sanders, but I wouldn't ever be caught wearing them. They kind of look like space shoes, which is what they were going for. But I believe there was 250 pairs, and they were all in the Student Union store. So I don't know if there's any left. Probably not very cheap, if I had to guess. But with this whole throwback weekend, does that kind of, they're coming, ESPN's coming, ABC, the primetime game, it's homecoming, the walk around the parade. You get to wait all day Saturday to play these guys. And listen, Texas, I mean, they sneeze and they get propped up for being great. The Texas arrogance is, I mean, the media love, they're the darling. That's why they're coming here. They get everything. Yeah. But last year, Sam Ellinger forgot what team he was throwing to and lost the game when throwing that interception to Ramon Richards. They had the highest powered offense in the country, held to 13 points, and couldn't win the game. Do you think Tom Herman's kind of saying, hey, you had these guys. We don't lose to Oklahoma State. We shouldn't be losing 6 of the last 8. We're Texas, which, I mean, seems like they've lost 6 out of the last 8 to everyone. But Texas is probably pushing the narrative a little bit like we don't lose to them, because you can't tell me that Texas doesn't think that we're lesser than they are. They absolutely do. So is Tom Herman pushing that message that we don't lose to these guys?
Oh, I think it's a dangerous message for Tom Herman to push, because your team can really get, depending on how you deliver that message, your team can get a little overconfident, like, hey, coach doesn't respect these guys, doesn't think they're worth it. Yeah, I think he's going to go more for what I heard out of Tom Herman's mouth at his news conference, where he said, he said, on defense, man, they are aggressive. They'll come after you. They'll confuse you. On offense, they've got a tremendous running back. Justice Hill's one of the best in the league. Was last year, is this year. The Cornelius kid can hurt you. And they've got a wide receiver factory that they're in Stillwater. They just keep cranking out wide receivers. And then the crowd, and I think he said blackout.
Yeah.
Is there a blackout?
I don't know. He said that.
Not that I've heard of.
Yeah, but he goes, blackout, and they get crazy in Stillwater. It's going to be a tough place for us to play. He goes, and they really get cranked up at home. And I'm thinking, not lately, Tom.
Yeah.
But no, I think when you're trying to overcome a deficit like they have, losing 6 of 8, I don't think you do it by saying they're not worthy. You guys need to go out and kick their butts. They're not worthy. I think you come at it the way Herman's coming with hey, these guys have been beating you. It's because they're really good. Y'all better fire it up and get the best practices in this week and be as totally prepared as you can be. I think you got to go for that.
So don't use the Texas message board fan theory. That's not what he's going for.
Is that what's on their fan boards? These guys are beneath us.
Robert, what do you think?
I don't know, because I don't read the Texas fan boards. But I will say this. One thing that I think is in Oklahoma State's favor is not just homecoming, but a 7 o'clock kickoff in Stillwater. I think it's always tough on players whether you're the home team or the visiting team, to wait out a kickoff, but it's worse for the visiting team. They're going to probably do it in either Oklahoma City or Tulsa. I don't know where they're going to stay. And then they're going to have to get on that bus and, you can get drowsy on a bus going for an hour or longer. I just think things play into Oklahoma State in their favor for a night kickoff here.
We're going to get into I'm going to ask you for a prediction, but we're going to ask some game questions coming up in this next segment. We'll be right back on One-on-One OSU Student Radio, KXUI Suddenlink Channel 112.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Air National Guard. Contact Oklahoma Air National Guard at 800-GO-TO-ANG or visit their website at goang.com/OK for more information about how to get 100% college tuition. And Unitarian Universalist Church. If you're looking for a church home, visit Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater, located at 320 South Stallard Street. They offer an alternative spiritual path and welcome all races, religions, and beliefs. They're also LGBTQ friendly. Services every Sunday at 10:30. We'll be right back.
Stillwater Medical Center now offers a convenient way to view your health information online. It's secure, easy, and free. Our hospital and clinic patient portals allow you to view results and reports, medications and allergies, track visit histories, view upcoming appointment information, and see your statements. To enroll, go to stillwatermedical.com and click on the patient portal link near the top right of the page. If you have questions, please feel free to call 405-533-6010.
Welcome back to One-on-One on OSU Student Radio, live from Studio 318 here in Stillwater, America. It's homecoming week, America's greatest homecoming celebration. We're going to go over some game notes, Robert, and get your reaction to them. Gundy is he's 6-7 against Texas. He's looking to go 7-7. You could argue he's pretty good in Austin, struggled a little bit here in Stillwater, but a 6-7 record against Texas by most standards is all right, but we'd like to see him go to 500 this weekend. Last weekend we talked about the 13 to 10 Ramon Richards gets the interception. That's still on their minds. The 33rd meeting between Texas and OSU. Texas is 24-8, so Gundy's had a lot of the success that we've had. OSU's won 6 of the last 8 and 3 straight, and Texas is 8-2 here in Stillwater. 53, 36, and 7 on homecoming. Obviously, we talked about the 30th anniversary homecoming Barry Sanders jersey. And if Texas wins out, this is more of a Texas stat than ours. They have a 3% chance to win out, according to ESPN. And if they do win out, they still only have a 45% chance to make the college football playoff. So there's your game.
Where's our stat to make the college football playoff, Reed? It should be easy to calculate.
It's
0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
Yeah.
There's a little 1, millions of zeros down there, but it's not very good.
Yeah.
But even if Texas wins out, they're not giving them much of a chance. And kind of like us, they still have the meat of their schedule still yet to come. So Texas coming this weekend. You don't have to give me a score or predict, but in the end, how do you think this game's gonna fare for the Cowboys?
You know what? I think it'll be a 4-quarter game. I don't think either team is capable from running away and hiding from the other team. I mean, obviously, for Oklahoma State to win the game, here's some things that I think, I feel like you need to see. I think you need to see Oklahoma State be able to establish the run game with Justice Hill and, like I said, the combination of Cornelius or some of the other backs. I would say that the Cowboys need to probably be somewhere in the 420-plus yardage neighborhood, total offense. I'm trying to think what it was last year. I want to say it was somewhere in that area.
Yeah, I think they had like 291 through the air and like 160, I believe, on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, Justice went for, I want to say 128, 132, somewhere in that range. Mm-hmm. So I would think that number would need to be similar. I don't think Oklahoma State's going to be able to score, more than say 30 to 32, somewhere in that range. I think you hope to keep Texas down, and somewhere in that area as well. Turnovers, I think, will go a long way. When you've got two teams that offensively don't have the firepower to kick it in gear and just blow away the other side, possessions become extremely important. The more times you possess the ball, the better chance you have of putting points on the board. And turnovers. And that's one thing with the OSU defense. We didn't really get into it in the defensive segment, guys. But one thing that disappoints me, it's great to lead the country in sacks. That's fun. But at the end of the day, you'd rather have turnovers. And while Oklahoma State has been doing a great job of sacking and pressuring opposing quarterbacks, Texas, I think, is number 2 in the league in turnover margin. If they live up to that, I think they beat Oklahoma State, because I think Oklahoma State needs to win the turnover battle in order to win this game.
Logan, what's your game prediction for Saturday night?
I hate to pick against us, especially since it's homecoming. I think Texas is going to come in here and take care of business. I kind of laughed at you at the beginning of the year when you said Texas was going to the Big 12 championship, and they were.
All of you laughed.
We
by
did.
The way.
We all laughed.
Not just Logan. All of you.
I'm still laughing.
But I mean, they've proven to be a lot better than I thought they were at the beginning of the season, and the O-line struggles are still a big thing for me. I don't think they're going to get better this week, so I don't know how effective we're going to be at running the ball or protecting Cornelius. So I think Texas comes in here and takes care of business.
All right, you ready for this, Logan?
I am.
All right, right there. I'm wearing it. I'm the only one wearing an OSU shirt today, and it's going to look really bad after I say this. Listen, we're in sports media, but at the end of the day, I am a homer, but that's not where this prediction comes from. What was it, 3-4 years ago, TCU came in here highly ranked.
Yeah.
OSU dominated them. Baylor's came in here with RG3.
ABC prime time.
OSU wiped the floor with them.
Clint Shelf.
This team is down and out. Gundy said put the big boy pants on. I had a little rant last week. Fans are mad, but as Robert said, fans can get as angry as they want, but they don't spend 12 hours a day on the practice field, watching film, going to school, working hard for this. It does mean something for this team. Texas, 34-29 against Maryland. Maryland's not very good. 28-21 Tulsa. Tulsa is awful. USC's bad. That's their one good win. TCU, obviously Kevontae Turpin. We didn't get into that, dismissed after being arrested this week. So it's tough times in Fort Worth. K-State was not
close game.
The team that shall not be mentioned. 19-14. OU, they almost gave it up in the fourth quarter, 48-45. Baylor, 23-17. Baylor's good but not great. You're looking at this list right here and going, well, Texas hasn't dominated anyone. USC, a quarterback that is in middle school basically, they're not coming in here and winning. Not after 2 weeks. Not on homecoming. Not with Barry Sanders here. Now I'll eat my words on Monday if I'm wrong.
I hope you're right.
Oh, I hope you're right. I'll hope I'm right. But I really think this is another Mike Gundy game where you watch and you go, there's a reason Mike Gundy's paid the way he is. There's a reason that this team has been successful for the past 10 years. Robert's giving you the look.
You know what? I'm with you. It's hard. I can't sit here and consciously, the way this team has played, especially what I saw with my eyes in Manhattan, Kansas, sit here and pick. But my theme the entire show has been Texas is not good enough to run and hide. They can't come in and dominate. OSU is going to have a chance if they just play reasonably well. They'll have a chance to win the game. I'm with you because here's the deal. I'm not going to pick a score. I'm not going to do anything like that. But one of the magic things about Mike Gundy, and I've known him since he was in middle school. Okay, I was working at Channel 4, and he was a young up and coming athlete in Midwest City. That you guys may not know this. I went and I lived with the Gundys for several days and did a series on what it was like to be a Division I recruit. And so I got to know the Gundys pretty well. Part of the magic of Mike Gundy is at the time you think it's lowest, at the time you think, all heck is broke loose and there's no saving anything, Mike Gundy finds a way. I mean, it's kind of like 2000. I hate to compare 2014. I mean, Bob Stoops punted again, Tyreek Hill and OSU won in overtime, and in that overtime they dominated. Both sides of the ball in that overtime. Mike Gundy has he has a magic about him to win when you least want to give him the opportunity to do so. He won the state championship at Midwest City after giving up the lead on a turnover and then coming back and driving his team down the field to win the game. I'm just saying, this guy's got a little magic to him. Maybe that magic comes out on homecoming night.
See, I was hoping we'd save that for the game down in Norman. Hoping we were going to save that magic.
There's plenty of magic to it. We can still do it, but we got to focus on this.
There's some magic. There's some needed magic right now because I can tell you from doing a radio show that people are. They are mad. They are. And part of it is, and this is the good part of it. They're mad because Oklahoma State has set an expectancy now of being really good. And so when it takes a back seat, when it drops off, now, they're bitter mad people.
And that's part of why, and like you said, on Monday, we won't have a show Friday, but if we come in here Monday and Texas dominates, I'll have to sit here and say, hey, I was wrong. But when you take in the fan account, and I know the players and the coaches, honestly, they couldn't care less. Sure, they want the fans, they need the fans, but their opinions on Twitter don't dictate what they do in the film room. But they hear things, but they're frustrated with losing, and when your backs are against the wall like this, we've set a standard for them. They've set that standard for themselves. Mike Gundy has came in here and set that standard for the program with what he's done. So when your backs are against the wall, primetime homecoming, Barry Sanders, we've seen them do it in primetime before. I think everything's there for a big upset to beat the number 6 team in the country. Now, Texas is a better football team. I've said with all of our losses, I thought at the end of the day we were better. I really think that Texas is the better football team. But they down south, they use that little term there, a little Sooner magic. Well, it's time for some Cowboy magic in Stillwater Saturday night. And I really do think that Mike Gundy, I think Taylor Cornelius is going to show up because he loves OSU football. He doesn't want to lose. Justice Hill does not. I mean, he's a junior, but we all think that Justice is probably going to be in the draft. He doesn't want to go out this way. None of them want to go out this way. This is homecoming. I think it happens Saturday night. Now, score-wise, I couldn't even begin to predict what it would be, but I'm feeling it for the Cowboys, Robert.
Well, and that's great. Like I said, I hope you're right. And there's a couple of things there that that I was thinking about when you said what you said. One of them is Justice Hill. I mean, he knows who Barry Sanders is. Not every kid over there really does. I mean, he played here one time. And you got to remember, a lot of these kids, most of these kids weren't born the last year Barry Sanders played in the NFL. I mean,
98, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of these guys, and the ones that weren't watching NFL football back then.
Right.
Yeah.
So they know who he is, but it's not like he's, Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or Odell Beckham, somebody that's in the league that they've watched progress. But for Justice Hill, being an Oklahoma State lifelong fan, being from Tulsa, he knows who Barry is. And talking to him the other day, he said, gosh, I said, chances are Barry Sanders will be in the locker room after the game if OSU wins, and he'll be wanting to shake hands with the heroes of the game. And Justice, all of a sudden, his eyes, we got to make that happen. I mean, you know, I mean, so, yeah, I think Barry does mean something to the game. I think the uniforms, whether they remember those uniforms being worn or not, they're special. They understand that. There's a patch on there. The patch is incredible, by the way. So, yeah, I think all those things, it's kind of like I said earlier, too. Add in the 7 o'clock. You know, I talked about the magic of Mike Gundy. There's a little magic to 7 o'clock games in Stillwater. Like you mentioned, Baylor, you know, the TCU game. I mean, you know, teams have come in here and found that, you know, nighttime in Stillwater may be great if you've got a date and you're going to Eskimo Joe's or something, but when you've got to come in and play Oklahoma State at 7 o'clock in Boone Pickens, it's no picnic.
Right, but at the end of the day, we can throw all those things in there, but it comes down to the X's and O's. Oklahoma State's going to have to protect the football. You said it comes down to turnovers. If they can get it, steal a couple away from Texas, and run the ball at will and get some other guys, when you start running with Justice Hill, then you can start, there's Tylen, there's Tyron. And if you open up, and a lot of things have to happen for that to take place, and that offensive line has got to play really well as well.
And let me throw this in, too, because we don't really typically have a special team segment. The punting game has been atrocious.
Yes.
2 games in a row. Yeah. It's been atrocious. I don't know if that means you change from Zach Seiner. I don't know what it means. But you've got to do a better job of flipping the field and winning the what am I talking about? The field, you know, geography.
Field position.
Field position. Thank you. I mean, I'm so frustrated I can't think of field position. You got to win that. And the punting game, that was a big ingredient to K-State's win. Those shank punts gave K-State needed every advantage they can get. Those shank punts helped them.
Well, thank you for coming in, Robert. Hopefully it's a sold-out Boone Pickens Stadium Saturday night. Go out to walk around, enjoy homecoming here in Stillwater. We thank you for watching One-on-One on OSU Student Radio KXUI Suddenlink Channel 112. We will see you on Monday.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
Cast for Crazy to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.